Okay, Rod, do you want to ask the
You can
first
start this
question?
time.
I can start this
You can,
time?
yeah.
Oh, I don't have like a good
Go
title
to.
topic. Maybe I do.
I
Um,
mean, I can start with the school question. I want to
yeah,
ask
okay.
about school because you're doing new school this year, right? I want to like
Yeah.
actually know like what exactly you're doing. Is it related to filmmaking? Is that what it was? Like,
Yeah, so I basically am taking this like specific year-long program that is like it's like specifically focusing on like documentaries, but it's like a general like film kind of. It's only a year-long program. There is like a full degree program that I can also potentially switch into after this, but right now I'm just taking a year-long program, and it's all about making film, making documentary, and I'm just like it's a lot of like it's like intensive, like a lot of hours, but you like learn a lot. So I don't know. It's like
mhm,
it's been fun, but it's definitely taken up a lot of my time.
yeah. It's like interesting though, because I feel like that like part of like making film and just like content in general, it's much more deeper than people realize. I feel like, especially at least from my understanding, like even doing this now, like there's so much to think about that I've never thought about when I'm just like consuming the content. It's just like it's really
Yeah.
simple, but then when you actually start doing stuff, it gets overwhelming really fast, I think.
No, no, yeah, 100%. It's genuinely so interesting. Like I love like learning about all this shit, and like all of my teachers are like so knowledgeable, and so like it's cool to like have their input and like hear what they're about, like just stuff that I'm making. It's just like, oh, it's like I'm just getting this like feedback, and also it's like about the actually like the overwhelming thing is like yes, like everything is so overwhelming, and you just kind of have to like start, and you just have to do stuff and then kind of like adjust from there. It's like what I think I learned.
Mm.
You just do stuff and then adjust, and then yeah, I don't know.
Do you plan on like using this in like YouTube or something, or
I mean, that's definitely in my head. I think like if I ever said like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna use this to like this like program that I'm doing to like make YouTube videos, then my teachers be like, what the hell, man? Like this is like serious stuff. We're not making YouTube videos here. But honestly, like so much of the stuff that I've learned, like I just am thinking about how I can apply it to YouTube, and I always have loved the idea of being like somebody who makes like YouTube videos and that kind of stuff. And like I never really have committed to anything like that. I've just kind of like speedrunning has just been my like main thing, and then I just like have tried to make YouTube videos every now and then, but I haven't ever like actually kind of made them. And I mean I've done some stuff here and there, but definitely excited to apply this knowledge that I've learned to YouTube in some ways. So I think there's so much that's applicable, like storytelling wise, and like maybe not like the actual like camera knowledge, but like understanding like color and stuff is always going to be
oh
useful, or
yeah, for
like that kind
sure.
of stuff.
It's like having a good eye test for like the picture and everything,
Yeah,
how it looks
100%.
like. That's probably really important.
It's so deep too. There's like so much to like learn about that, and like my teacher is just like one of my teachers who's gonna teach us the color stuff is like so he's just so smart. He just knows so much.
Yeah, I feel like making YouTube videos is something that a lot of people probably think about because it's like your legacy, you know what I mean? Like when we speedrun Minecraft, like the words just like they exist, but you can't really go back and just look at them. But making a video is like a I don't know what's the word, like condescended, like it's something you made. Like that's your job, like work. You made that, and you
Yeah,
can
true.
show it to everybody, and it's like very much easier to be proud of than just playing the game. I feel like.
True.
hmm So I have a question about like YouTube content as it pertains to MCSR. There's sort of in my head like two general styles of content. There's sort of the more sort of documentary storytelling based content, something more reminiscent of like Summoning Salt. And then there's more gameplay focused content, like I can't think of an example, but you know, something that's where the main point of the video is playing the game, you know, doing a challenge run or something like that. Like I think like a lot of Curryway videos are like that, where it's
Rec
mostly
rap as well.
yeah, Rec Rap, where it's playing the game. I don't know. His videos are like sort of a third like commentary category. A lot.
Yeah, the mix.
Sort of a mixture.
I feel like.
But yeah, I don't know which style of video sort of calls to you more, that documentary or the gameplay.
Honestly, I don't know exactly. Like, I think the like a concept of a video that I've wanted to make for a while now is like, um, I don't know like what you it's like a video on the lockout tourney, like
Right.
because I won that tournament. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen like there's this Pokemon YouTuber named Wolf Glick or something.
Oh, I've heard of
Have you
them.
watched him?
And
Yeah.
Andrew sent me his video about the World Cup.
I haven't.
Pretty
I
interesting.
watched like so many of his videos for a while, and like, they're like just so similar to like what videos I would want to make. Where it's just like it's him basically just pulling up to a tournament and like his like preparation for the tournament and like all like the technical stuff as well, and like, he's just like he's like a beast, but he's also like makes really good videos, and I don't know. It just seems like that'd be so sick. Cause like I feel like I could do something like that because it's kind of like mixing like my speedrunning skill with like my like film making potential skill that I could have, and like I don't know. It's just like fun concept. Like I actually like love that guy's video. I haven't watched them in like probably like 8 months or something, so I can't remember exactly like everything, but like I used to watch them a lot, and they're just like so they're just so cool. Just like seeing like the journey and seeing like the progress and like
Yeah, they also feel personal. Like
yeah, they
it's
are
just
personal.
him.
So like that's like kind of a style of video that I would want to do, and like I was thinking about doing that with like the lockout tourney that happened like a year ago or whatever now, but like I don't think it really matters that it was like it's better if it's timely, but for this kind of video, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of fine. And so that's like been in my drafts where I've like had the clips and I've like done some editing, I've done some stuff for it, but I've never like completed it. But then like I think doing this like film program at school is like giving me more confidence in like being
It's not
able
gonna
to
be a
understand
waste
like
of
what I'm
time
doing.
doing it.
Yeah. I mean, who knows, right? Like I think I have to definitely go into it with a mindset of like, oh, like I'm not like doing this to make money, because like I don't think like that's gonna take me very far. Like I need to be more into it for like the passion of doing it. Kind of like how I took like Twitch, where it's just like I just really like speedrunning Minecraft and I want to share that with people, and so it doesn't really matter like if I'm making money off of it or anything like that. And I think that's like part of the reason why I was able to like find like a lot of motivation to like continue going and that kind of stuff. And so like with YouTube, I need to kind of go into it with that mindset where it's like the speedrun mindset almost. It's like you're there, you're showing up and you're like doing YouTube and you're like just trying to improve. Like you don't think about like the individual like matches, like the individual like elo that you lose or gain, or like where you upload a video and it gets like lower views than you expected. Like it's not about the individual thing, it's like about your overall skill of like improving. And having fun with the process as well is like just important. So yeah, I need to think about it like that more than just like trying to get views, trying to get money. But like
That's
obviously I would be happy if it got views.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
That's important for like almost anything you do in life, really, because if you're doing it just for the money, I feel like that's like obvious advice that a lot of people say, and I've never even thought about it, but like when I started streaming, I didn't even, like, Hacks also was saying this, that he didn't mean to, like, get popular or anything. It kind of just happens to you. When you're actually passionate about the stuff that you do, it kind of just happens itself. You don't need to actually try sometimes. Like, you need to try, but you're only trying because you want it, not because of the external factors that will, and the benefits that you will get.
Yeah, 100%. So much more natural that way, I think, too.
Yeah.
People, like, kind of see that.
For sure.
We can talk about playoffs if you want. I wanted to ask, like,
Sure.
what expectation do you have for this season? Because I feel like you haven't. Well, it feels to me like you're still very passionate about it, but you don't have as much time, and like the time constraint. How does it make you feel about this one?
I mean, obviously it's gonna be tough. I think, like, I'm always going to be going into it with the mindset of I want to win this playoffs. Like this, I want to win. You know what I mean? Like I went into the last playoffs with that mindset, and like, and so I'm going to do pretty much everything I possibly can to make that happen. But like, I accept that, it's an uphill battle. It's like a very, very uphill battle. I just have to rely on like the fact that I kind of am confident in myself in tournaments to like perform and like do well. Like I find that generally I'm like pretty strong at tournaments compared to like regular ladder, and that is like kind of the way that I can win. And yeah, it's kind of just like, it's a lot of grind, but I am on winter break right now, so like I'm gonna be spending like this whole winter break just grinding like as much as I possibly can, because like it's just like, I don't know, I'm having so much fun with it right now. I mean, I've been only going for like 2 days or whatever, but like, oh my god, it's been like so much fun just like feeling like I'm improving, because like I've been spending so much time just watching people, like, oh, like in between like homework or whatever, I'll like pull up a stream or something like that, and then I'll like see something that they do and be like, oh my god, wait, I have to figure that out, I have to apply that to my gameplay, I have to like learn what they did. And so it feels so good to like actually start applying different things to my gameplay and learning and improving, and just like in terms of how I'm gonna be in playoffs, it's like I think I was at a pretty good spot for myself, like right around when pace happened, where I was like I went into pace and I kind of had, my gameplay was kind of figured out in terms of like my skill kind of, I guess I was just comfortable with everything that I was doing. And so it was a good timing, because you want to be comfortable with everything you're doing when a tournament's happening, because you don't want to overthink like smaller things. And I think after pace though, I've been like totally, like, obviously I've changed my hotbar up, I've changed like so much stuff about like every single bastion that I'm doing, and I'm just like trying to like apply different aspects of my gameplay in hopes that they will take me to the next level. And then once I kind of get comfortable with these different things that I'm applying, then I think I'll be in a really, really good spot. And so it's just, I'm hoping I can just get comfortable with everything, and like keep improving and just learning before playoffs happens, and then I can like be prepared. But yeah, I just have to rely on my confidence. I mean, I won pace, like I've beaten Dougal, so like it's like it's not like it's impossible to beat him, you know what I mean? Like obviously the environment's completely different, and maybe it's like, oh, I'm better at adapting to like weird setups, or like the nerves of being in person was like the reason why I won was because like, and we only went like 3-3 or whatever, you know what I mean? But like it still is just like, it gives me confidence, like I did win that tournament. I won that
still a new
tournament.
experience though, right? For you as well. Like
Yeah.
nobody has ever been on the LAN tournament before.
I mean, there's been like, yeah, not for
I guess
ranked. There's
Farmer
been
has
like,
been in Twitch Rivals, right?
Farmer's been in Twitch Rivals, and then there was like there was the Pace 2 years ago.
Oh,
where,
the RG one.
yeah, the RSG one, where I performed really
That's
poorly.
different.
It is different. It's 100% different. Yeah. I don't think anybody's been in like this kind of event, but like I don't know. I guess I adapted to it well. But yeah, it was weird too because like I wasn't even playing that much around that time. I was just comfortable with my gameplay. Like I was just kind of like I was playing like maybe an hour or two every day, but like that's nothing compared to like a lot of top runners, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, some like fucking hacks probably plays like less than that, but that's hacks, so
He doesn't count.
it doesn't count. I don't know. I'm excited though. I'm really excited for this. It's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, what you said about the feeling comfortable, I feel like that's one of the things that I need to figure out because I just always, first of all, I think that I'm bad with taking notes with what I want to change. Like we yesterday did a water review, and I feel like there were a couple of things I wanted to take note of, and I just didn't. And now I'm like stuck with this feeling that I should change something, but I don't remember what it was. And I feel like I have sometimes I get these like I don't know, like bursts of motivation to change stuff, and then it's like it's really annoying because I changed too much, I feel like, and then it like overwhelms me for a while, and then I just don't do anything for another like 2 weeks, you know. But I feel like when I watch Duke, he would just like see a replay and see somebody do something, and then he would just like practice it until he gets it, you know. He's always in that, and I feel like he gets to the point where he's comfortable really fast because of it, because he's really fast at
so
adapting
used
to that
doing
stuff.
it.
Yeah. And Loki as well. Loki also has that, and Hax also has that. I remember I was watching Hax play, and he had a match. It was back 97, and it was 4x2 anchor, and he didn't hit the last anchor. His last anchor that did like no damage, and he's like, "How do I fix that?" And he just came up with the idea of this mobile anchor. I don't know if you've seen it, where you don't set up the second anchor, and you just like put it on the way of the path of the dragon.
Oh yeah.
Which was really cool. And it's like he just practiced that for like an hour after that, and he's just fully comfortable with it forever now. It's something that I should be doing more. At least like if I don't do it right away, I should like actually take notes and look at it whenever I start playing. I feel like a lot of people also have that, where they just like have this much motivation. Okay, I'm gonna improve, and then they just like run out of it after like a week, and then all the other mental stuff gets in the way as well.
Watching like Dugal play with the ranked weekly races as well. I mean, any week he plays, he's consistently the best, and that's like, I mean, the routes are new routes are, you know, being developed every day, and they're usually completely novel with, you know, completely novel crafting routes or you know, weird bastions. And like I remember when week 1 he was just like, he would say the overworld was like 55 seconds, 50 seconds for like most people, including me. And Dugal was just saving 5 seconds on everyone on this pretty linear, it was like a BT lava pool overworld.
I've played it.
yeah. And like a couple people got close, but not nearly with the consistency that Dugal had. It's, and I think, yeah, a lot of people have that sort of skill of just extreme adaptability where, you don't really, it doesn't take much time to get to a high level. Like you just sort of think about what you want to do and just execute it. Like, which something I feel like I don't have. I don't know if it's a more of a practiced skill or just like a trait, but I definitely feel like I'm good at Vine Seed after playing it for like 3 years, or however long it's been the thing, but not at the start, no.
That skill of like getting comfortable with stuff fast is so important for like general gaming. I feel like whenever I watch like people do any events and like even like in the mini game events, like I would watch Fine and he just like there's like a new mode and he just like thinks about it, like first round his shit, and then the next round he like gets it, like he just understands what he needs to do. Everything starts flowing really fast for him. Even though like Feinberg, you don't think about him, like he never practices, you don't think about that. And if it's like even like people playing Lockout like recently, for me like the hotbar is like something that I need to really think about, and I just like watch Feinberg and he just has random stuff and he's just like comfortable with it. It's like anything in the newer versions, like any events or stuff like that, there's like a couple of people that I think about that they like really really adapt to it really fast and just like able to enjoy it much more than I do, because I have too many habits that I actually need to apply still when I'm playing other stuff other than 116 any%.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I've thought a bit about like kind of my adaptability to like different versions and different like categories and games, and I just like I feel like the one thing that I've realized though is like if you hit a peak in like a specific area, like for instance, I was worried about putting my keyboard and my mouse in the exact same, or like my mouse pad, and like keeping them in like a perfectly, and my chair and my desk, keeping it all just like perfectly set, like exactly, like I'm very like precise about all of this, like my keyboard, my chair, my desk, my everything, like how I'm sitting and stuff is all like perfectly precise, and I was worried that this was gonna like cause me issues when I like played in person or whatever. But I think what I realized was like, or like what I've kind of come to the conclusion of is that it's kind of, there's no point of like holding yourself back by not making all of this stuff perfect, because when you're in a situation where it's like worse, you're still going to be like overall have improved more because you were like in a very specific, I guess, like sitting position. And like I don't know, it's just, I feel like it's kind of applies to like other stuff too, where it's like you just want to have like insanely high peaks, like for Dougal, like with his like bridging or whatever, his like peak of like drag clicking plus aiming was like so insanely high, and now he's just insanely good at like drag clicking and aiming in like every kind of thing that he needs to apply it to, I guess, which is just like so, it's just so cool. Like you can kind of just have those skills, or like even like he does those parkour movement, like block placing things, and he's just so like stupidly good at them, and he's gotten like world records and stuff, and now he's just so insanely good at like applying his block placing and his movement. Like I think he just has the best movement and the best like block placing movement out of like anybody. Like that's like his like thing that like totally stands out to me, is he's just insanely good at that. And so it's just like, I don't know, just having like those peaks and then like being able to like apply that to other stuff, even if it doesn't apply perfectly. If it's like 90% of what your peak is, you're still going to be insanely good at it, you know? So I don't know.
Just another reason to play SSG, I guess.
True. I think SSG is super beneficial.
You did that barbecue seed for like what, 2 days when you
Yeah,
one
I
shot?
didn't get good at it at all. I had fun with it, but I forget what happened. I think Weekly Seed came out, and then I stopped playing both or something.
That happened to me as well, I think.
Brooks, you want to ask about ergonomics and stuff?
Yeah. I actually, so you bring up like you want to have your setup like extremely precise, and I don't know, that's one thing that I've been trying to do as well, is like, you know, figure out like what is like an optimal position for my chair, for my keyboard, my mouse pad, monitors, everything. Like I'm not as meticulous as it sounds like you are, but it's definitely something I think about. How do you sort of approach figuring out what is optimal in the first place?
I mean, I've just like kind of like, I think I've watched a lot of videos. Like the original, so there originally for me, like I didn't know what exactly I was doing, but I knew I had back pain, and I knew I felt like, I remember talking to Rain specifically, and he was like, do you feel comfortable in your setup? This was probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that. He's like, do you feel comfortable? And I was thinking a bit about it. I'm like, no, I really don't feel comfortable. My chair feels off, my arms feel cramped, my everything just felt off. And this was right after I won like a lot of Twitch rivals, like with the like Davy squad, where we just like won like 4 or whatever. But so I had like some money to spend, And then he asked me, do you feel comfortable? And the answer was no, I don't feel comfortable, and I'm getting back pains and all this stuff. And then I had money, so then I was just like, okay, I'm gonna like look into this more. And so I basically found like this other guy that I had watched. He's like a CSGO like coaching guy, like Ron Rambo Kim, I think is YouTube. Basically, like he talks about ergonomics, and there was specifically this video that I watched, which is like the optimal sitting position for not necessarily. I mean, no. He actually claims it's like perfect, like optimal sitting position for aiming as well. But I'm pretty sure it's like the optimal sitting position for like injuries, like preventing injuries as well. It just is like yeah, basically you want 90 degrees on your elbows, and you want 90 degrees on your knees. And so that's the base idea, is that you have more control that way, and that you're not like straining anything when you're like that. And so I went out and I bought a really expensive chair to hopefully combat like my back pains and my posture and fix my posture a little bit, because that was what was happening to me. And then I also bought an adjustable desk, and all that I've done with this adjustable desk since I bought it, I adjusted it to the perfect height, and then I've left it there. I have literally left it on that perfect height, except I changed it slightly when I moved into my new room because we got carpets installed, so it was slightly different, so I adjusted it slightly again and to its like perfect height. And then that's all that I've done with this. I don't use it as a standing desk. I don't use it anything like that. I just adjust it to the perfect height that I wanted, and I think it's like there now. I don't have nearly back pains nearly as much anymore. Still very, very rarely, but I used to be getting like really bad back pains every like every couple weeks or whatever. Now it's probably like every few months I'll have like some back pain, and I think that's more about like how I'm sleeping and stuff like that. It's like less about my posture while I'm gaming. And then so yeah, I just basically like I feel comfortable in my setup now, and I think that's like so important, is you just want to feel comfortable. And when you're comfortable like that, then you're not gonna be like thinking about any external factors, and you're not gonna be feeling like, oh, my arm's sore while you're aiming. Like, no, it's never gonna be sore while you're aiming. It's always gonna be good, and you're never gonna have to think about that. And so yeah, and then yeah, it's just about talking to other people as well. Like I was messing with my mouse grip a while ago because I felt like my crafting was inconsistent, and I was kind of like trying to figure stuff out, and I was just looking up videos, and I was looking up like Ten's like mouse grip and stuff. And then he was talking about, there was like this video of him like trying out a new grip, and his new grip that he was trying out was like the same conclusion that I came to, which was like hovering my palm, like before my palm would like sit on the desk. And so if my hands were sweaty versus not sweaty, I would have different friction on like how my flicks were. And so I started to hover my palm, and so now I don't have to deal with like my palm being on the mousepad, and I just like found that as like a confirmation that like Tens also did that. And so I just was like, okay, this makes sense. And it's just kind of, yeah, I just like will watch random YouTube videos. I really enjoy just watching videos about like I don't know why, like I don't even play Fortnite that much at all, but I'll just watch like randomly, I'll just watch like, oh, this is like how to take height in Fortnite or whatever, and you just kind of like start learning about like some random thing,
Ideas.
or, like,
Just
yeah,
like,
it's just so like fun and interesting to just hear about like the mechanics of the game. And it's like so much stuff is going over my head. I'm never gonna apply this, like I don't play Fortnite like that, but like it's just fun to like hear about it. And then sometimes you'll pick up something that is like applicable to like speedrunning or whatever.
It's
And it's
like
just like,
more
oh,
about the
nice.
way of thinking and coming up with new stuff. I think that really works
Yeah.
well with that. It's just like learning how to like make something new or make a strat. You know, in other games, it's also like even having like the idea of like, okay, this game to properly play it, we need to do this and this, and then like you can kind of just mimic the thought process. The same for other games that you play.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's yeah, just totally true.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Just I haven't thought about that. Just watching tutorials for other kinds of videos, because yeah, a lot of stuff will just sort of apply, a lot of ideas.
Hmm. It's
About
fun because
the
there's less stuff about
yeah.
MCSR, right? Because it's just so
Mhm.
so tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so niche. Yeah, Raul, you wanted to ask something?
No, I wanted to say about the back pain. I also had that for a little while, but from like the anatomy perspective, we're just not made to sit in the first
Mhm.
place. So like I think it's really important to like sit properly because and it's also important to just take breaks and stand up. Like what I've been doing recently. I know, Roxy, you've been bothering me with this.
Yeah.
With like to get to sit properly and everything. I still don't properly sit because I do need a new desk properly for that and a new chair. But what I've been doing, I just like to minimize the to like the damage or whatever. I just like stand up and take breaks every like an hour, 40 minutes. Like it's an obvious advice that a lot of people do, but like, and I also have the horizontal bar in the room next to me, so I just like hang on the bar every once in a while, and it actually feels so good.
That's cool.
That's really
to,
good.
to take those
Yeah.
breaks.
Dude, I think about it too. Like my mindset was like so often. Dude, I remember this guy was like, "Oh, his like your posture is like too perfect." I'm like, "What?" It's like, "What do you mean it's too perfect?" But basically it was just like it's just like it's such a time loss being injured. Like it's genuinely such a like if you get injured and you have to like go through like physiotherapy or like anything like that, it's such a bad time loss. So like you should just put the extra time in to prevent getting injured because otherwise you're just gonna lose time overall in your life.
That's
It
a
also
good
just
way to
takes.
think about it.
It also affects you forever, like actually forever. Like you will, like you will be battling that like probably forever. Like you will be like 0.5% worse no matter how you try. You know?
True. And it also limits you like fucking
Yeah.
like if you get
Also
really injured like Dylan like I
upsetting.
remember like it's this like sucks so much like Dylan was playing when MC was booming, right? And he would do like 12-hour streams like every day, and he started to get hand pains, and he was getting hella viewers, and he was having hella fun with the game, and he was getting on pace all the time, and he started to get hand pains, and he just started playing through the hand pains. Like he would just continuously just play through them, and he did that for a long time, and now he just has permanent hand damage, and he just is like he's tried to like work on it and fix it, and sometimes like stuff kind of gets better sometimes, but he just has bad hand pains and he just can't game for a long time now. And I don't know, I think that's a big factor in why he
That really
hasn't
sucks.
streamed.
Yeah. It was really unfortunate.
The recent example I was thinking about it career having the broken arm
Yeah, the broken
or
arm.
elbow. It's like it's so annoying too because like you just can't do anything about it. Like you just have to wait. But like the fact that he was playing on one arm is like such a good example of like resilience. It's like
I know.
crazy.
Dude, no, he thought of that like literally like so soon after he like his arm was broken. Like he just immediately was like, how can I pivot? How can I make this something that's good? How can I make this like not, or like how can I minimize the badness of this or whatever?
Yeah.
It's good. It's impressive.
I feel like I would just give up and just not play for a month in that situation.
Yeah. Actually, that does kind of
he just
remind
can't
me.
though. Like that's his like so much of his livelihood. But yeah.
Well, not you say not play for a month, or getting injured is time loss. But how do you view sort of breaks? Like if you have to leave for a week or whatever, how do you think that affects how you come back and play? Do you think it's really beneficial, or would you rather just stick around and practice?
to me, it's like it depends, like what kind of situation you are when you're taking a break. But most of the time, I do come back like more refreshed. But sometimes, even when I take a break, I'll do that. Just opening your instance and like playing for 15 minutes every day is just so. It will make things so much easier, for me at least.
Yeah, just having like that little bit of like maintaining it. Yeah, because getting the
Mhm.
rust off is so annoying. Like getting rust off is really annoying. But I do think like I always think about how like people say breaks are good. Like breaks are good. You don't want to get burnt out, all this kind of stuff. And so I always think of it like when I'm taking a break, when I'm like doing something where I can't play Minecraft, um, then it's just like I'm just like, okay, this is a good thing. Like people say this is a good thing. But it always feels like, oh, like if I was just playing right now, like I would just be improving. And or like if I was just playing right now, I would be like so much like I don't know. There's just like if like objectively taking a break means you're not playing the game, so you're not like improving at the game. So like if you had like this perfect like mental, it would be to play the game always all the time. But like I don't know. I
We're
definitely
not robots though.
yeah, we're not robots, so but it just I sometimes I forget that, I guess, or like I like to think about myself as like having a perfect mental that doesn't need breaks, but um I take them still.
Yeah, that's interesting. My view with breaks, I mean, it's interesting the difference I think it has on sort of mental stuff like routing and decision making versus, you know, muscle memory for like portals and decision making, or portals and sort of just mechanical stuff. Because I don't know, anytime I like Vine Seed, I played on and off. Like I only really ever played Vine Seed on and off. And every like I'd take like several months off and come back, and within like 2 days I'd PB and enter. Um
Hmm.
and I'm not really that good, so there is that room for improvement. But um when it comes to sort of mental, like ranked, I come back to ranked and I'll like forget how to route a bastion. So it's definitely a mix, I think. But that's interesting.
Yeah, true. It's just like I feel like when you are playing a lot and when you're like in the zone, you just have sort of like a flow with your gameplay. And then
Mm-hmm.
um when you take a break, you just lose that flow and it takes like a while to get back into that flow and get like very comfortable and very just like confident. At least for me it does. Like it just is like it's not a big deal though, because like you're still overall better than like you were. Like I would say like I'm just off a break and like I know once I kind of get all this stuff down and get back to that flow, I'm gonna be at like a new peak, right? I'm gonna be at like my new best player.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of about getting there.
Right.
That's interesting. Do you think it's always a new peak? Like, like always feel like, okay, I'm gonna change this stuff, and now I'm just gonna be objectively better as a player. Do you feel
Um,
that?
yeah, honestly, I do. I feel like I have like a pretty gradual like because there was like me in like 2023 season 1 where I was just like probably the best and but like me now is
Like,
like so much better than me back then. And so like I just think about it like
mm-hmm.
not like the relative peaks, but like I think about it like my own personal improvement. And like if I change something with my gameplay, then and I think about it as like a thing that I'm gonna change that is gonna make my gameplay more optimal, then it just means that I am a better player now. Because like I still am good at all the other stuff that I was good at before. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think it's important to think about not the relative peak, but like your own skill. Because I've had this, like, I think I've been close to like peaking in like probably second best and stuff. Like I was probably third best in season 3 and stuff. When me, Dugal, and Loki were first place. But
Mm.
then like after that, it feels like everyone improved. So it felt like I I got worse, but I don't think I got worse. Everybody else just like took a leap, and I never took that leap. So it felt like I went down, but I actually don't think I did. And it's just like I need to think about more that way about myself and my gameplay instead of other people. Like comparing yourself is good to like improve, but then like you should also just view yourself and your gameplay separately. To judge yourself like that, because I feel like a lot of people don't do this, and that's also like one of the issues I had. It like helped your mental so much when you actually focus on yourself and not other people, because ranked we play other people, right? But at the end of the well, what am I trying to say? It's just like it will always just be only the little meta game that you can do with other person. Like it is still just you playing Minecraft and you speedrunning. Like yes, sometimes you can just like get some info and stuff from off of your opponent advancement and stuff, but it's so important to just think about yourself. To me, it helped me with mental a lot. Just being less upset about matches, because you in the match you don't know what's happening to other person. Like and especially with how much RNG in this game there is, like you're not going through the same stuff most of the time. Like genuinely the variance that some seeds have is just incredibly insane in this game. So just thinking about yourself is important, I think.
The other thing that's like very common is like once you're at a peak, or like once you're at like a certain level, like your improvement slows down like the better you get, you know what I mean? And so
yeah,
if you're at like a really high point, like you're like the second best player or whatever, and then other people are like getting closer to you or like improving faster, and it feels like you're not improving as fast, it's just because you're at a higher point. But like I don't know, there's still like lots of, it's just like also like I
It
think
changes.
individual like
The
people,
things you need to work on, they change, and
yeah,
that's what you need to adapt to.
yeah, and like your improvement is never like a linear thing. It's like it just like it goes like all like crazy. Like you could be you could like learn something that like improves you like a ton, or you could like learn something that improves you like a tiny bit, and like the time input to like learning that thing like might not be the same, and so it might feel like you're improving slower, but like at the end of the day, if you're trying to like, you need to like know everything if you want to aim for being the best player, I think. So like I don't know, caring about
Yeah, and
a bunch
over
of small
time
stuff is like important.
everybody's getting better, so and there's less and less stuff that needs to be figured out, and I feel like that's the part I've been struggling with, because I need to focus on smaller things, and it's my impatience gets in the way of that, because I feel like I've never thought about this, but I've watched hacks like actually practice Chalice TNT split. Like he would just sit there for 15 minutes and just practice it, like doing the TNT, doing the helmet and pick overlap, and then doing the FNS so you don't take knockback damage. It's like I would just never have enough patience for myself to do that, because like I think all the time in MCSR I've used to practice, like I would practice new stuff, but I can't like remember last time like I actually practiced the new route that much. Like I would usually just like, if I can pick it up on the fly, then it's a good enough consistent shot for me to do, you know.
Right.
But that's something I need to change and work on little things more and be more patient with myself about it, because yeah.
there's
True.
sort of
I hear so much
yeah,
about
go on.
that recently. That's all.
Okay. It's sort of, I find myself when for practicing, like there's certain things that I've practiced a ton, like, 2x1 or whatever, but there's other things like, I've very under practiced for bastions, and there's certain like, you need to sort of learn how to have fun with certain practicing, like with certain things that you practice. Like zero cycling is just naturally really fun. I think there's a lot of less glamorous things to practice, but you can sort of learn to enjoy it. I feel like there's a lot of what in speedrunning I find, where you start playing a category, like you start playing a new seed or a new version, and it doesn't really, like, you don't really get it. It doesn't really feel natural to you. But as you keep playing it, as you sort of start to understand it more, it just becomes like, it becomes more fun. I remember the moment where like, or I remember having a moment where RSG sort of, it clicked for me and it like became really addictive to reset. And just finding that for things you want to practice, I think is really important.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
struggling
making
right
it
now.
enjoyable is important. That's what Hax told me as well, that like he has his own routine, and then he would just like listen to other stuff or watch somebody else while he practiced, just so the time it just becomes more enjoyable. The time you need to take to practice.
True. I'm like, I find it so fun to practice portals, but I just like, I hate the feeling of how slow I feel when I practice like my hotbar stuff, and so I just like am kind of dreading practicing it so much, but like I always just know like I have to practice it, so like it's the most important thing for me to practice right now with my gameplay, so I always am just like, okay, I gotta go back to practicing my hotbar, let's figure this out. Because I gotta get used to it. And I know I will,
Yeah.
but it just takes time.
Also, do you want a fun fact? I literally made that map that you're using just to practice my hotbar. Because nobody needed so much hotbar practice with like BT and stuff back when I made that map. But I actually needed all of that because it's just like there's so many situations. Like everyone just like deals with their hotbar kind of, what's the word? Like it doesn't matter what situation you're in, you just like take the steps to sort it with your offhand or just like hotkey everything. So it doesn't actually matter how much stuff you have in your hotbar, where it goes and everything, but with the way I do hotbar, it actually matters a lot. So I just needed a lot of practice on that. And that's kind of what you're going through as well now.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for you to do it though, because I feel like I'm so unoptimized with everything. I have like a couple of situations where like I genuinely just lose time to it, and I would need to just figure it out, but I've never gotten to do it. So
yeah,
I'm hoping I can pick up things from you, because I know you're more patient about it, and you will figure it out.
Do you want to explain like what exactly that hotbar system is, either or silver?
It's basically just crafting your items always in the same order, so they go on the right side of your hotbar, and you never need to move your items ever. But I realized that like it's basically I now only do it for tools, boat, and bucket. They always go into the same spot, and I think boat also goes. No, but boat changes spot sometimes, but. You craft the items always in the same order, or you make them go into the same slot, basically. So you don't need to sort it ever. It only really helps on really fast seeds, but also it's just, I feel like it's time neutral or faster. So
yeah,
but it's a lot of effort.
Interesting. Okay.
I think the benefit as well is like something that I've been thinking about is like something that I've noticed with myself is when I leave island and I'm boating away, I won't like
get there enough info.
Yeah, I won't want to sort my hotbar because I'm looking at the ocean. And so I'll be like trying to figure out like perfect times to like do my offhand sorting so that I can offhand sort and then like make sure I'm gathering info. So like it's just like I don't know. I just can see so many.
No, that's
like,
actually a
parts where,
really
like,
good point. That's really good point. I've never thought about that.
I don't know. I'm just excited to like have it totally down because I know it's just gonna feel so nice to like just. It's just gonna. Like, I know I'm just gonna feel so much better about. Like,
most of the situation does feel really nice. Like the simple situations where you just have like just iron or like just iron and like one more item.
Yeah.
It feels really nice, but then when you're doing a temple seed, bro, it makes me want to cry sometimes because like I can clean my hotbar getting out of the temple, but then I explode the TNT and I have seeds, I have some flowers in my 2 stacks of dirt, like there's just so much, and then I need to do it all over again, and it gets really annoying. And yeah.
it's cool. It's hype though. I feel like
It is
something
cool.
that I really like I'm valuing recently is like trying to be really good at fast seeds. Like I think after I got like my like the ranked like 604 in private rooms, I was like I felt really good about myself because I was like, damn, like I can play fast seeds fast and I can get like really good times or whatever. But it just motivated me more to being like I want to be better at fast seeds. Like I want to be like low key where fast seeds are just like second nature and like I can just like if there's a linear fast seed I can just totally like crank it and I'll just be like I don't know. I want to be like that, I guess. And
Not
so
getting
this is
overwhelmed
like
with it.
yeah, this is like a step that I know will improve me on fast seeds like and that is like so nice to like I don't know, it's just so nice to like know that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, fast seeds, it's very interesting to me watching ranked how different seed types do play so differently. And I don't know, it's like the disconnect between like it's intuitive to think like, oh, the player with a faster average is a higher rank, but no, like people like the fastest averages are not always the highest ranks. And why is that? And I think it's just because like like people are stronger at different seed types, and someone can be stronger at slower seeds versus faster seeds. So it's a kind
Yeah.
of I don't know. It's very fascinating to me.
Something that Raul and I have talked about a lot. It's like
Mm-hmm.
trying to be better at linear seeds and stuff. Cause like I feel like you and I both had like where we kind of just felt like we were really good at like unlinear seeds, but like if it was a linear seed against Hacks or Loki or Duke, it's just like over.
Yeah, it just
And
feels like I have no chance
it
sometimes.
still kind of feels like that, but I'm like and I think you have been too, like kind of taking an effort to like make it so that it feels less and less like there's just no chance.
Yeah, it's just so much effort though. Like I feel like to get there, I just need to take so many steps. And then like I was rewatching the this season's record, well, this year's record, and it's versus me, and it was Hacks, and I just like it's also so hard mentally to like get to that point because dude, when I entered and I like know it's a linear seed and it's versus Hacks, like I just can't get it out of my head. It's genuinely so hard. And then like I would watch after the run, I watched like two POVs at the same time, and the time saves are so like tiny, and it's like I don't know how to get myself there. It feels like I fail at the point where I need to make a roadmap, and not I'm not even failing at the steps, but I'm failing at the roadmap there. You know, it's like one of the I just like started with one thing, like I'm doing this portal, the faster one with the two blocks at the top, and it's genuinely so hard. I've never been that player to like care about all this very little things, and it's really hard to get there.
Yeah, it's weird because I felt like I've always been a player that cares about that kind of stuff, and yeah, I'm still worried about playing linear seeds against them, and yeah, I feel like I still just get gapped, but I just want to put myself in that position to be really like good, and so I'm always just aiming for that, I guess.
Do you think the with the new C distribution changes this season with 20% RPs, it's going to become more prevalent, or I don't know. I think of RPs as linear seeds. I guess I mean the Nether is not necessarily any more linear. Sometimes it's less because you need iron, but
yeah, you need iron. I feel like it's definitely balanced. I like played today. I played like a bunch of temples and it was fun, honestly. Also, there were a bunch of RPs. Yeah, it's just nice that there's no more as many oceans because oceans are like it is a mechanics race, but then it's also like sometimes on some seeds it's not objectively correct to look for a ravine in a certain direction, but then the ravine will be there and then you will lose 20 seconds to that, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, I think temples are like honestly like one of the most consistent because like
Yeah, because you
'cause
just climb on top of the temple, and both
can
you and
see
your opponent have the
everything.
same things. Yeah,
Yeah,
and you both make the same decisions, or like the best option, you can
temples and
say.
RPs too. Like I remember in season 1, I would choose RPs not because I felt like confident on linear seeds. It was because I would want the least variance in the overworld because I knew I could win in Nether, and so I would always pick RP against my opponents.
Interesting.
That's an interesting choice, yeah. What's your best seed type right now, you think?
Yeah. Just
Have you not looked at the bot
it's just like
stats?
weird though, because like I mean there's win rate that I could look at, right? But like
Yeah.
my temple win rate was like 70, like really like something stupidly high, and then like my village win rate was something like stupidly low, and like those seed types aren't that different. Like it's just like the win rate just like is not like an accurate. I don't think it's like that good to look at. The average enter stuff is like okay, I think, to look at. But I'm just like up there on everything, and like I don't think anything like particularly stands out for me, which may be a good thing. I feel most confused on villages, I think, but I think I've been kind of overcoming that recently, so I feel a bit more comfortable with them, and I've been trying to like improve at them. It's just like a lot of thinking. Like I remember watching you like your VODs a lot, and you would like punch gravel so much, and I was like thinking about like how I would never punch gravel, and like I started punching gravel, and oh my god, it can save like 20-30 seconds on seeds sometimes.
Yeah. But it is a balance though, because I feel like I've lost some time to punching gravel, because like first of all it can be out of the way, but then like you need to see. It's so hard on villages though, because on temples you can just like get an elevation point and just see all the info that you have.
Yeah,
But at villages you can't do that. Sometimes you just spawn outside of the village and like you have the gravel on you, right? But then you don't know what's on the other side of the village. Maybe there's just like a river and the lava pool right next to each other, and then you going for the 5 second getting out of the way to get gravel just loses you time.
true.
So it's kind of a balance in that you need to think about like, can this be linear or will this most likely not be linear? So I should grab the gravel.
That is true.
That's something also like I feel like I try to just make simpler decisions, because I think I often just like try to overcook stuff, and it just gets too annoying to play like that.
Simple is good for sure.
Yeah, if you don't know what to do, do the first thing that comes to mind most of the time.
Yeah, that decisiveness is important. So there's all this talk about villages, right? Routing villages in ranked. Makes me think how it's never something you do in RSG, right? And this is something I think about a lot, is how should, like, how do ranked and RSG relate? Because RSG or ranked sort of started out as a, RSG style 1 versus 1, obviously with some key differences, but now it feels like it's more and more, especially with these recent changes, how it feels like it's more diverging. So how do you think about that? How do you think about RSG nowadays in relation to ranked?
I still think ranked is amazing practice for RSG, and I think if you're trying to get good at RSG, you gotta just do both, because you need to be comfortable and know how to reset, and know how to play BT seeds, but like ranked is just gonna teach you so much because you can compare yourself against other players, and so it's gonna be, I guess you're kind of getting a decent amount of unnecessary knowledge by learning how to play temples and learning how to, because you're never going to use those in RSG, but the benefit definitely outweighs the negative. So I think it's still just like an amazing tool to improve at the game if you want to be a good RSG player. Playing ranked is like still the line, but it's definitely different. It's definitely changing quite a bit, but if you can just kind of go into it with like a good mental of like this is fun, you know? Learning temples are fun. Not just being like, oh, they're so slow or whatever. Then
Mhm.
after that, like the nether's the same. So like you can still
Yeah.
you can still like the rest of the game is still good practice for RSG. Like the overworld's just one split, so like yeah, I don't know.
Okay. That's
Also for
interesting way to
me,
put that.
it does feel like very different. Like it's probably just like a separate game mode now. But what you were saying about the you said that it's like a useless knowledge, but I just would refer to the same thing that we said earlier, that like watching the tutorials for other games. It's kind of similar to that because it's just like you learn the concept of how to be fast, and then you
True.
can apply if you know how to be fast on the temple seed, you can apply it on the other seeds as well and stuff like that. It's also like there's an argument about like the nether is the same, but your materials are different, you have different food and like and stuff like that, but it's also just like the management is just the food management. Like
Yeah,
yeah, you have different food, you still just need to learn how to manage your food. That's it.
true. And it helps you with extremes too, like playing on like rotten flesh or whatever.
Yeah,
Is going to be way harder, but you're going to feel like, oh my god, now that I have cod, like I have 4 cod, like that's so much more than this fucking 8 rotten
yeah.
flesh that I had in this other run, and I had to manage that. And so, like, yeah, you just like kind of get more comfortable with the extremes as well, which is like good. Because RSG, I think, like, you're playing for the perfect linear seed, but like you're kind of not.
Never
Like,
happens.
yeah, it's like you have to be prepared for stuff to not be perfect, because it's never gonna be perfect. So like, um, being comfortable. I mean, like maybe like, yeah, no, I know. I think yeah, just being comfortable with like weird situations and extremes and stuff is still important. I don't know.
Yeah, it's also just
Yeah.
like you're still speedrunning the game, you're still getting better at the game. It doesn't, if you can get good at ranked, you can get good at RSG. Like
Yeah.
same thing, the same game, different skill sets, but you can manage that.
All right.
So, do you have any plans to run RSG again?
Yes, I wanted to run some this break. I probably will. Um, because I think I don't know, this is kind of stupid, like, but originally when I started playing ranked, the entire concept of the idea of me playing ranked was to get me better at the game so that I would be a world record contender. And then it definitely shifted a lot. Because ranked kind of became its own thing, and it stopped being about like it stopped just being about trying to get good for RSG. But I think that a part of me feels confident that I could like um for like ranked, like getting like good times makes me feel like I could do that in RSG. It like unlocks that skill in my brain. And so like getting the 604, that was a private room, so it counts a little bit less. But like it still is just
Still beat Dugile.
yeah, it still just feels like really good. Like holy shit, if I rolled the seed in RSG, like maybe I wouldn't have gotten a 604, but like it's just like it still just feels like I have the potential, like I have the skill to do that, and um it's just like yeah, I don't know. I want to go back to RSG. RSG, like, resetting is just so difficult, but, like, I'm willing to, like, put in the effort to, like, kind of figure out resetting, I think, a bit better. I think I have an okay understanding of resetting, but, it's
There's a lot of
just,
discipline.
it's fun.
The
RSG is
most
fun.
important part.
It looks fun too. Like I've been watching Rain play a lot, and it just looks fun. To get on pace and to like get in that flow. But I still have a lot to learn because like I'm not gonna play RSG if I don't know my hotbar, my hotkeys. Like I'm not gonna like. I'm not even playing ranked right now, but like once I kind of start like getting more comfortable with my hotbar and stuff, like getting kind of back into that flow state, then like I might dabble in some RSG. I definitely want to beat my PB because it's just like it's depressing thinking about like how
Yeah,
bad
you're
my
definitely overqualified for that baby now.
yeah, I hope so.
You should get into the Paceman playoffs. I think it's a good format.
Yeah.
At least I enjoyed it playing the last time.
I don't know if I can.
Do you have any points right now?
I don't think so.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't see you on the leaderboard. I mean, it's not even that much. I think you can get in if you just put like 5 sessions in. I don't know, at least for me, it's not that hard. I had like 4 points, and then I did 2 RG sessions for like 5 hours each, and I got 2 sub 9s, and now I'm just in.
That easy.
So, yep.
Just do that.
It is sort of interesting with Paceman as well. Like with ranked and sort of, I mean, after it really, I think it started after like Brentilda's 936 even, but before that, there wasn't really as much focus on consistency. It was more of just getting one run. Like that's all anyone cared about. And I don't know, the shift towards more of a consistency play style, right? Grinding out sub 10s. And I mean, with ranked, playing every single match to completion, ideally. It's such a different way of thinking about the game. And I mean, with Minecraft, the reason why that's important is because every seed is different. So if you can grind out sub 10s on so many different seeds, it means then you're more likely to be able to, get the sub 7 or whatever, get the run. But yeah, I don't know. I find for myself, I mean, when I play SSG, it's not at all about that mindset. It's about getting the fastest run, the one fastest run possible. And I definitely feel like it's more natural to me to play for the one run than it is to play consistently. And playing consistently is sort of something I have to learn. Is that do you feel like you're more of a speed runner in that sense, like getting the one run, or more of a consistency player, just at heart?
Does that even apply to like other games? Because I feel like the other games value consistency in speedrun so much because you're always doing the same thing.
Well, consistency
it's only Minecraft speedrunners that are that way.
Consistency is always an important skill, right? But I'm more so talking like the mindset of like yeah, obviously you have to have a certain success rate with each trick in any speed game, right? You can't just get 1% for each trick and then just go for it. But I don't think, I mean, it's more just like you're learning these tricks to pull them off in one run in other games. And I mean, of course, you want to improve your PB over time, and you probably want to, get good times over time. But I don't know. For me, there's a shift that happens when you go from playing, I mean, even from RSG to ranked, but from SSG to any sort of random seed based or sort of any other game to speedrunning. Like playing a game just for fun, for like any sort of, basically any sort of game, unless you're like score running as well, where you get the one high score run. There's sort of, I don't know, there's that divide there. I don't know if I'm articulating my point very well, but
no, I kind of get it. I've just never thought about that way, really. Okay. Also, you said about Brentilda, I feel like after Brentilda, it was more so like, how can we change the game more, how we play it? Because there were like a lot of stuff that started getting changed.
For sure.
Because like we watched that run, and it's like, we can't do the same run. We just cannot do the same run. The run needs to be very different from what it is there.
Yeah.
And I feel like the consistency part is like Doug really changed that. Like in my mind, like when I started watching Doug, when he was still playing RSG, like before ranked, it's like him like put that seed into my brain that like the consistency is so important because
Well, for me it was Crooks. Like
Yeah, I think Crooks does the original
Yeah,
one
Crooks-
in my head.
yeah, Crooks is also a good one.
because he just showed us like you can grab every gold block in the Bastion. Like you can,
Yeah.
like you don't need to.
There's
fucking
one specific
skip
run
all
that
this
I can
shit.
remember. It's like it was a treasure and he didn't get anything and he went for like backups like nobody was ever grabbing those and then he still got like a sub 6 blind and everyone was so impressed with in the chat.
It's just so funny because now like
We always grab
always
them.
do that. Yeah. Like Drip's world record had him like he didn't grab like everyone, but he grabbed like half of them, right?
Yeah.
Just like I mean, like our mindsets were just like so weird. Like it was just so like it was just so everything had no. And then I think like ranked and like Dougal and stuff is just like it made it feel so because of just how much like how many trials you get to do where you're just playing good seeds against another good runner and you're both playing so good. You just start to like it just starts to feel like so objective almost about kind of figuring out what is like working and what is good. It definitely is more confusing when it is related to RSG, but I don't know. It's still just overall everything kind of improved. But yeah, I think about myself as like consistent. I just think about myself as like whatever player I need to be. Like in RSG, you can kind of
Okay.
I think the one thing about RSG that's just totally like never it can apply to ranked is like saving pace, I guess. Like you can go for like risky plays like leaving on 5 or whatever. Which okay, so people have definitely done that in ranked, but just like it's like the ability or like the opportunity I guess to like play all out and to like save pace is something that is kind of interesting because it doesn't apply to rank, and that's kind of the more just like playing for the run, but also it is weird because you don't want to like if you get into that mindset too much, like you will just like oh like I need to save this pace, I'm gonna like not grab blocks in the overworld, or I'm gonna like which I mean maybe that's a bad example. There's just like options where it's like okay if you went 6 for 6 in this 4, if you didn't do that stupid play to try and save pace, then you would have made it to the 4, and then you could have gone 6 for 6 in the 4, and then you could have had perfect second portal terrain, and like, so like, you don't want to like do things that like kill your run in the like idea of saving pace if it's just gonna like, if it's like not actually like saving any pace, you're just kind of you just feel like it is. I don't know. It's like such a weird balance.
Yeah. For me, it's also, I feel like a lot of people, when I watch them, a lot of RG players just like get lazy sometimes. I feel like that it's so easy to justify. Like, I watched somebody today and they were playing ranked and they just did one TNT and didn't blaze bad, even though they even pre-crafted the bad. They just did one TNT and started mining it out. Well, they had enough explosives to do that. And it's like, you can easily justify that. Like, if I just do one TNT and then I pre-craft and then I go 6 for 6, you know, everything works out. But then, like, most of the time I just won't. And you shouldn't be doing that, I think, ever.
Yeah, it's like it's like about discipline, I think. Just like being like
Yeah.
just
So easy to just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go for 9-eye. When you can just grab a stray and finish a run and PB.
yeah. Practicing this new portal, it's kind of or like it's not new, but it's like new to me. Like I saw Loki do it where it's like you start like
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. You start like bridging that, and then you do like this side, and then
Oh.
Cran portal.
Yeah, that's what Dude was doing.
it feels so like I guess I Loki do it once. It feels so like easy. I
It's
don't
good
know.
for soul sand.
Hmm. Yeah, you can jump and place the 3 blocks and the 1 block sort of cleanly. This is
And like the movements like overlapped. I don't know. It just feels so clean.
yeah, this is in for Vine Seed players. This is known as Cran or Rayo portal, aka Cran portal, and it's what right now I think the world record, or at least second place Endenter uses this. It's definitely one of the best portals, just for raw speed.
That's like a good example of what I was saying earlier about Dougal just like practicing one thing. He just like saw Rox, you were there. How did he see even this portal?
I don't
I just
know.
remember he was like realized that he should have done that portal when doing the second portal in lava with Soul Sand, and he just like was practicing that for like an hour.
Yeah,
I would just like not have patience to just
I
do
just saw
that.
Loki do it once, and I was like, "Holy shit, that looks clean!" So I just wanted to like learn it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
yeah, Loki and
makes
Duke
sense.
both play Vine Seed. I assume that's where they saw it.
Dude, I feel like there's stuff I want to talk about, but I just can't think of it. Let me look through my Discords. Oh, something that's like I find like really fun is I'm like in like every Strat Discord that I like can join, and I think like something I just enjoy reading through the channels and just seeing people's like weird ideas and like quirky stuff and just unique, because I feel like Minecraft is like so deep and there's so much that like there's so much that you can do, and there's so much, but it also feels like everything's solved. And so when you come up and you just like see somebody's like weird concept of like a route, or like a bastion route, or like I don't know, just like weird concepts and stuff, it's so refreshing, and like so many of them are just so ass, and like you're never gonna use them and stuff. But it's like the whole point of just like trying to come up with something like entirely unique is like so cool, because I feel like with strat development, for me, I don't have I feel like generally for the stuff that I've come up with, it's all optimizations of stuff that has already been invented pretty much, and like it's very rarely like very unique.
New concept.
Yeah. Like I think I'm pretty sure I came up with triple the gap, like the route that we use. Like I was like
Yeah, I
the
think
first
you
one
did.
to like kind of figure out, oh, like we can like kind of mine down here, and then I just kind of thought it was bad, and so I like kind of stopped doing it, and then Dougal picked it up and then started like getting like good at it, and then I think B-Salad like optimized it like crazy, and so like, and now it's like just a route that everybody does, and so that was like one thing where I was like, oh damn, like I kind of came up with like the initial idea just like randomly. But for most things, I'm like the B-Salad person where I just like optimize it, you know what I mean? And I feel like I don't know. So it's so fun though to see the fresh, unique ideas in all of these strat servers and stuff.
Yeah, it's also like so important for that. You need to have like challenge the existing ideas. Like the thing we were talking about yesterday in the treasure, where like it doesn't matter how fast you start trading in the treasure actually, because it all just gets overlapped at the end anyways when you come back from the other rampart, and you still have stuff to do after you drop your last gold. So it doesn't really matter when if the pigs aren't trading it for a certain amount of time, because they won't be trading when you come back and drop more gold and stuff like that. I feel like there's more, we'll see more like ideas like that changing over time, and that maybe like experimenting with that will bring new improvements.
Yeah, it's so like interesting. It's so like conceptually like just fun, I guess, like having like new ideas and new like, it's just, you have to just be quirky and be be like unique, and I don't know, I just appreciate that. Like I appreciate like everybody who's just like coming up with like random shit, like like randomly maybe just decided to like go and check out like ruin portal completions and try and like optimize them, and like just came up with like some faster ideas, and it's like, oh damn, like how did you think of that? Like that's cool. I don't know. It's hype. It's hype.
Yeah.
Because then there's so much more to learn too, and I love just learning strats stuff.
I would want to know how people think of that. Like, for me, like the only thing I think I made is like my hotbar and the safe treasure. And with the safe treasure, it's just like a very simple idea of like, okay, why do people do T-Lags? It's because they are separating themselves from the pigs, so you take less damage because of that. And I literally just like placed one block, and that achieved it. It's like a very simple solution to an existing problem with Boomer, and that's literally it. But like, I don't know, how do you even like think of some weird concepts that people come up with? Like, that's the part that's like really interesting to me, how people can think of that, like thinking outside of the box for that kind of stuff. I was never be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people that I've noticed at least is like I'll just like see like, oh, like Pyro or something. Like I've seen him like cook, you know? And like his brain just fundamentally, I swear, just like works differently than mine. Like I couldn't, like I don't think I could have ever come up with like some of the stuff that he thinks about, or like the way he thinks about stuff is just completely different, and that's okay. Like that's fine. But it's just like my brain works differently, and I come up with different time saves. But like it's just so interesting, like how like different I guess we are, and like and I've seen that with myself with like so many other people too, and like. But then also, there's this other side of it where I think, like, just, like, for Dougal, for instance, I think he just has, like, such, like, a deep knowledge of, like, everything that, like, goes on in the game or whatever. And so he's kind of just, like, molding it around him, you know what I mean? Like, he just, like, knows how every little interaction works, and, like, how every, like, small time save, and he can just, like, create, like, come up with shit because it's of just like that understanding. And so like I don't know, there's like lots of different ways. Like maybe you just have a quirky like way of thinking about the game, or like you come up with like, quirky ideas, or like you have a really deep understanding of the game, or you just like me, where I feel like my strength kind of it's just like knowing like just thinking about things, and like thinking about like the small optimizations, and being able to like come up with like and apply like the micro optimizations to the routes, and you know, change mining order, or change like that kind of smaller stuff. That's generally what I have come up with over the years. But I don't know, it's just cool. It's all different, and it's cool.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts about being in like a community, and such a diverse community, is there is just like, even if one person could put in the same number of man hours that the whole community has put into this speed game, you know, developing it and doing all strat dev, it would never get to the point where it is today. Just having multiple people each contributing their own thoughts with their own like prior knowledge just gets the game into such an interesting, like, it's just, there's so much more ideas that come about, and so much, like, a lot of them bad, but a lot of them good.
I mean, a lot of them are bad initially, but then they like actually work out. It's really cool to see that when that happens.
It is. And it's funny, you mentioned like, yeah, some people fundamentally, you know, think differently. And I've thought about that quite a bit, like sort of there's like a Vsauce video from like probably like 10 years ago where it's like, basically the title thumbnail is like, do we all see the same color red?
Yellow,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like how do we know that we're experiencing the same thing when we see the color red? And I think about that in MCSR sometimes, where, I don't know, I was watching Feinberg play ranked, and maybe it's just like the things he focuses on are different, and like his play style is different. But I think the way that he sees the game, like I was thinking, like the way Feinberg sees ranked at least, but Minecraft speedrunning in general is just feels so fundamentally different to me, or it looks fundamentally different to me than nearly any other top player, any other player at all. But then I was thinking about it, and I think that just applies to like everyone. I think there's just a bunch of different ways to sort of conceptualize the speedrun, and I think everyone just thinks about it slightly differently. And you know, which way is the best? I don't know. I think probably out of the top top 10, top 3 even. There's different there's very different ways of thinking about the game.
Yeah, and people have like different focus on stuff as well. Like we were talking about this earlier about hacks, how like he does care so much about the micro, but at the same time he's so undisciplined about it, and he like does things nobody else does, but then like the common ones he doesn't do. It's like so weird to think about.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Some people are like a lot more instinctual. Like I think of a Loki as kind of like an instinctual player where you kind of just see him and it just seems like everything is just fueled off of like he just kind of just like is feeling the game out. And then there's like people who are like Feinberg where like it feels like you watch them and they're just like so analytical about everything. Everything is like getting processed and everything is like, and so it's just like it's so cool to see those like unique mindsets and like unique identities of the game and stuff. I don't know. It's like it's fun. I don't know.
Yeah, about the analytical versus going like off of feeling, that's like something you can see if you just talk to them, because when you talk to Loki about stuff, he will just say, trust me, just trust me. That's all he says. When you argue with him about something, he will just say, trust me, it's better. And I think when I argue with you about something or Dugal, there's always like argument that's being put into words. And when I argue with Rox just needs data. That's all he does. He doesn't care about the arguments. Just prove me. You need to prove me.
Yeah.
Your words are meaningless to me. I need data.
Yeah, so that's why I remember that stream where you were talking about search crafting and you know, then Bez just made that site, like just proved it. He proved it.
Yeah.
That was so satisfying to me.
It's
just the best example of the proof. Just do T-Wags 100 times, do Safe Boomer 100 times, and
no, but
it'll
it's
be
not
obvious.
realistic.
I know, but
Griffin, if you're watching, please play more ranked. You only have 7 routed treasures in your wallets. Please, I need more.
Data, it's just data is like 100% like the best way, like just like it is objectively, but like it's also so like confusing. Like Ross, even last night you were talking on your stream like about like how RSG and like improving in RSG is like so confusing and like so it just like nothing makes sense because of like how random the game is, and like so it just a lot of the stuff just relies on feel. I feel like I don't know.
I think you're right. Yeah, like when the game is all about playing the odds, even in ranked, like you don't know what's always correct, and so you know, if this play is at 50% consistency and this play is 60% consistency, or even like 90 and 95% consistency or whatever, and it succeeds, how do you know that? Like, how
it's
do you
actually a better one?
Know which one is better when it like you can't feel that 5% difference or that 10% difference even, and so you have no real feedback to improve on, and you never really know if like you're getting lucky or not. And it was interesting, like Boyan was talking how like the way he manages that for like previews, world previews in RSG is that he'll do like a full session and change one little thing and look at the stats change, and that seems like how people generally deal with it and with RSG previews. But for things where like you don't get as many trials, like and that are harder to sort of practice, like just I don't know, like managing wither skeletons, like how do you like you can't really practice that, and some things are going to work faster more of the time, but it's like a few seconds of time save. Like it never feels, yeah, there's so many things in the game where it feels that it just feels impossible to practice to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Also, just like about the decision, like 55 versus 50%, it's like you will just never know as well, because
yeah,
like on a similar situation, but it's different situation. Like how do you know? Maybe in that specific situation, not only that decision plays out differently, but it's also just like the odds are gonna be different on that specific seed with the info you have and everything. It's just so deep and so hard to think about in my mind.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think having really strong fundamentals is like important for that too. Like if you kind of just like if you have really strong fundamentals, then you can kind of build like build yourself up, and like I don't know. There's also like I don't know exactly what I'm saying, but there's also like being so good that it doesn't really matter what you do, like Loki, where he's just like he might make the wrong decision, but like since he will fucking loot a chest and save 3 seconds on like every single time he like does any like thing ever, then like you're just still gonna lose time against him, and so it's just like, okay, like if you don't know, just be better, I guess, is like also a solution.
Yeah, like over practicing everything.
Yeah.
It's also like how hacks and Dougal, they say that consistency matters the most still. I feel like what they mean by that is just like there's so much about this decision making that can change over time. You just should always just be consistent, and everything else that's manageable by you. At this point, I feel like that it just comes as a default, just like default skill that you just need for ranked. Doesn't not like you can just improve at that. Also consistency in the riskier strats and everything, because I feel like people are just trying to go faster, because everyone is just has like very similar mean to the decision making. It still varies and depends on the play style, but it's so similar at this point, I think.
Yeah. People are sort of converging on one sort of set of like ways to make decisions. Like decisions are still like there's still varying decisions, but it's from a much more limited set of potential decisions. Like it's like, do you get 20 or do you play home portal? Like, okay, you're probably gonna want to force 20, but some people might still play for home portal. It's just that those are really the only two options. No one's gonna like blind anymore, right? And so a lot of like those sort of more out there options are being removed in favor of just a few set of like safe options.
Yeah, it's like how some people just always go up on terrain, and some people like sometimes do not go up, and some people just still force manhunt. Some people just always force top down. It's like I feel like it's basically because we don't know. We don't know the exact odds. We know that top down is most of the time good, but we don't know the exact odds. And it like depends on the situation as well. Like sometimes manhunt is just objectively better, but then other times it's not. And it's really weird. And it's like even in the worst situation for manhunt, it can still be just so much better, but you just don't know it. You don't know how much obbies and bottom chests and everything. There's still like just odds being there, and you always have to play those odds, and it's weird to think about sometimes.
Yeah. And even when you can measure and you can know, like I mentioned this with hacks as well, but if you have a specific micro strat that has, some success rate and some time save, and if it succeeds, it saves this time. If it fails, it loses this time. Even if you have those exact numbers and you know how they can apply, how do you know what time is worth what, success rate? Like how do you, if you might save a second 95% of the time, but lose 10 seconds, that 5% of the time, is that worth it? Like you can figure out the expected value, I suppose, but even then, like when the time loss, I guess maybe it is solvable. The specific thing I'm thinking of is like in Treasure, when you elevator the gold blocks up, like people don't do that anymore, right? Because sometimes the gold blocks just fly out. And so if that saves a second, but you have that low chance of the gold block flying out and losing the gold block, how you have to I don't know, it's just so complex. Maybe it is solvable. Maybe it feels like it should be solvable, right?
Yeah, because you know
the expected value. You can figure out when those 9 ingots matter, but it is still complex. And how do you need to also figure it out in real time?
Yeah, like for also like if it's somebody where it's like Dougal's never ever gonna do that, because he knows if he's playing against somebody else that's like he doesn't need the extra second, because he's gonna be overall like on average like fucking 20 seconds faster than them, so he can he would rather take the like odds of like just like
100%,
100%
losing 1 second, then
and like he might lose like a little bit of time sometimes, but I don't know, it's just like Oh, that concept is so interesting too, because like I think about that a lot with the like building second portal underneath lava, because
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my god, okay, I do it every time because that's the faster play. That's what they do in RSG. And then I swapped to um, never doing it. Literally, I'm never gonna build my portal, second portal under lava. And then I saw Dougal build his portal under lava like a bunch of times, and I was like, what is happening here? I thought we like figured out that it's like not correct to like do that, but like I had like a match against him where we were within 10 seconds of going to second portal, and then he saved a bunch of time on me because he built it under the lava and I didn't. And it's just like so weird. It was like a tight match, and like it's in that scenario, I guess like it is correct to build it under because you're gonna hit stronghold like 80% of the time or whatever. Like I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but like oh, it's just so weird. It's just so weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess it gets difficult when you can't exactly quantify what the potential time saver time loss is, because you might hit stronghold while you hit starter, and if you don't hit starter, how much time do you lose because of that? That's just going to be so different every time.
Yeah, and also sometimes you will win time off of that because you
Yeah.
hit the
Portal room,
maybe you
yeah.
just hit
Portal
portal
room.
room, yeah. And you can't, again, this is something that you could technically go and you could do, you could write a script, do
I've
1,000
done
trials,
that.
figure it out. Yeah,
I have the numbers, I think.
you have the
I'll look
numbers,
at it.
but it's like there's so many variables to control for, like how do you quantify how good the position you hit in the stronghold is? Like how bad is it really to not hit starter? Like how do you quantify that, right? And so it feels like an impossible task to me, but hopefully it's not. Hopefully someone can figure it out. That'd be hype.
So Y21, and it's like I think that's the lowest lava level that you can have. It's 68% for I Spy.
For I
That's what I
Spy.
have. No, it's not the I Spy. I think it's
Starter?
I Spy or Visible Stronghold. I don't remember what exactly it was.
Oh.
But yes, it's not the starter. It's not the
even
starter. I didn't split
that
that.
sounds like so bad.
Yeah, it does sound bad.
Wait, what would be like
Maybe
Y40 or Y35?
I don't remember. I think the one I was doing, it's Y31 is the lava level, but I don't see the
Actually, I
numbers.
don't remember. I don't remember. Oh, yeah, that's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The classic one.
The example I brought up with hacks is the double spawner silver, because I feel like that's something that's so easy to figure out. Like, should we always place bet the first one, or should we not? Like, what should we do? Is it better to just TNT it if you can do that, or is it better to always try to overlap everything? It's like so weird to think about, and it feels like it should be solvable because we know the averages like of spawns and everything, and we know how like what the average spawns are after the blaze bet, so we can technically compare that. But it's like so much math involved. I feel like that it's really confusing.
Yeah.
It's so much math, and you need to do it for every single thing. I mean, maybe there's some way to like abstract these situations into like one equation that you can just, plug in the numbers and figure it out, but that doesn't seem likely to me.
Yeah.
There was another situation that I was thinking about that's so similar to this. I mean, there's breaking spawner in bottom treasure. That too, is like it's so like feels just so like weird because it's like a weird like gambit. Like maybe you don't need to do it. Like if you had better observation like at the beginning of the run, like then you might have noticed the like treasure or like the fort without having to break the spawner. Like depending on like what terrain you take, maybe you take worse terrain and then you spot the fort. It's like so annoying.
Yeah.
The other one that I was thinking about, because I remember because Loki was saying this, he was like, he said, can we just all agree to play double triple? Because double triple versus triple the gap. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's such like an annoying thing because double triple will save you time on triple the gap, but triple the gap will work more often. And so it's like, it's just,
Yeah,
so
it is a gamble. But you can kind of think about that though. If it's like if you can leave from the gap, then you should always do triple to gap in my mind, because if you just if you're able to just leave from there and it's still just as fast to leave from there as from the double triple, then it's like like the benefit outweighs the time loss from just double triple being faster.
Yeah, but like if you're doing triple to gap and like your first triple doesn't have like obby, then like what do? You go to the other one and then loot that obby and then grab like it feels so
Yeah, it is weird.
awkward sometimes just comparing to just like immediately starting like the double triple row. Yeah.
I thought you were a phantom, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I'm just flying around. And actually that is interesting you say like how much do you think that the sort of social game plays into it in ranked, where like, you know, like double triple saves time, but triple the gap's more consistent? Like if you feel like you know what your opponent's going to do, how much should you let that affect your decision making? I feel like this is like constantly something like how much should you play your own game or versus metagame in ranked?
Generally I'm only thinking about my own game, but I also think that I'm probably metagame more than like most people. I find like it's kind of like become natural to me to like metagame. Like I won't even be thinking about it and I'll just start metagaming. Like even like I was playing against Feinberg, like this is like such like a stupid example, but I was playing against Feinberg yesterday and he said, oh, he was ahead of me into 4 and he said like, oh, Silver, we have to triple blaze bed because the spawner is completely covered or something. Like he didn't say it like that, but and then I just like don't even know, like I wasn't really thinking much about it at all, but I just ended up at a different spawner than him and I just didn't need to do that. And I was like, did I like just unintentionally metagame like my movement in the fort, because there's like a buried fort, and I think I did like totally just metagame like my or like if your opponent's been in the stronghold for a long time, like how to like nav it. And like it's just I don't know. Or if your opponent's ahead of you and they're taking a really long time to first portal, sometimes what I'll do is like I know the rates are bad, or like I think the rates are bad at least, and so I will be more like precise about clearing out my spawner and clearing out more blocks in hopes that I can get an extra blaze spawn and save a cycle. And like that's something I just do, and it's just like sometimes it's wrong probably, but I think generally it like can be pretty good. I also think like something that you made me like, or like when you were talking about that I was thinking about was like people's like aura, kind of like having like like having like aura matters so much, and I feel like for me,
I feel like it does.
for me personally, like
So
I think that like my tournament wins have kind of built up aura around me, and people get like kind of nervous playing against me, which is like so weird because like I'm good, but like it's not like I'm playing, it's not like low key or hacks or dude, you know? And so like people are maybe more scared of me than they should be or something. I don't know.
I feel kind of similar. That also, it's like Rox, you mentioned this the other day. I think that people sometimes just forfeit to Dugal when they can just still win.
Yeah, he'll die
it's
sometimes.
like, yeah, he does die. Doesn't die as much as Loki, but it definitely does happen.
Yeah, it is interesting. I forgot who I was watching. Maybe it was like, no, I forgot who I was watching. But it was a good ranked player, and they were playing and was it like you Silver? Anyways, and basically it was just saying like I'm playing someone who's not known for going fast, so I'm just going to be playing more carefully and deliberately. And maybe that's a little more objective, like, okay, I know this player is not a faster player, so I don't have to play as fast to beat them. Especially when it's like a top 10 versus like a top 50 player. But I don't know, it's just it's interesting to me because everyone always says like, I mean, and it just doesn't, like, there is no player interaction, but it does motivate decision making at least.
It might have been me, but it probably wasn't, because I think my mindset is like so I think about ranked as it's like I think about ranked as practice for tournaments. That's kind of how I think about it.
Okay.
So like, I care about my average. You know what I mean? Like I use my average as like a metric, and so like I'm just doing whatever I can to make my run as fast as possible on like average as much as possible. And so generally I wouldn't play slower if I'm against a slower opponent. I would just try to like crank out the seed and just get a good time or whatever. And I think that's probably why. But like if you're caring a lot about elo, then that is just correct to play slightly slower and more consistent against a number 50 player compared to like against Doog or Loki, where like, well, maybe that's even a bad example, because like against Doog or Loki or Hacks, like you might just want to like play consistent and hope they die, and that's like because dude,
Yeah.
that's literally what I did.
Yeah.
I was playing against Dougal, and I hadn't learned my hotkeys at all, right? And I was playing my decay match, and I queued into him. And I'm like, okay, this is perfect. Because my options are, he beats me, I only lose like 10, 12 elo or something like that. Or he dies, and then I gain like 28 or whatever. And so I'm like, just thinking about how like, this is just perfect, and he died, and then I won, and I got 14-minute time because I couldn't nab the stronghold for like 5 minutes, and I entered the nether like 30 seconds slower because I didn't know my or like 45 seconds slower because I just didn't know my hotkeys, and so I was just so far behind off of Overworld, and so it was just like, it was just so stupid, and I like hadn't played in a while, so I was like rusty, and so, yeah, I don't know, but there's like so much you can do with your playstyles and stuff, but generally, I think about it ranked as practice for tournaments, and I care about my average, so I just play as fast as I possibly can against pretty much everybody.
Yeah, I think caring, you can just change that depending on the time of the season. Like if you need to get the face points, and then you just like care about the elo. If it's like the start of the phase, start of the season, then you just care about. Also, like a lot of people do this. It's kind of weird that playoffs are just so disconnected from it kind of is disconnected from the end of the season, because like end of the season, it makes me want to change so many things at the same time, because like I just have time before the next playoffs, but there's just still playoffs in a month after the season ends. I mean, so I have to wait until playoffs ends, but then it's the end of the phase when playoff ends, so I can't do that either. And it kind of gets me in a weird state where I just don't even ever have time to change something really big.
Right. Yeah, I just kind of ripped it randomly. I'm just like, I'll just do this. Why not?
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. Just the comfort of not being annoyed by everything is just too much for me.
Yeah,
to get rid of it.
fair. That's fair.
Okay, we can end if we don't have anything. It's been pretty long as well.
Yeah, that was good. That was perfect.
Okay,
Sweet.
I'm ending my recording then.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah, thank you, Silver.